Hey everyone, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Fear the Walking Dead's second season. So if you haven't watched it, or if you haven't finished it, you're going to want to step away because I'm going to go into full spoilers here. I'm going to ruin some things for you, so that's your warning. Season 2, an improved season compared to the first season, but the first season was only 6 episodes, so we really didn't have a chance to dig into the characters. Everyone was really just reacting mostly to the zombie outbreak and trying to figure things out, and it was a little frustrating, especially the Travis character, who I'll get into at the end. And the most interesting characters coming out of the first season were, I would say Nick, even though he was a junkie and making some junkie mistakes, and then Strand, who we barely knew. So that kind of says a lot about the other characters, is that Strand, who was this huge mysterious character, was more interesting than everyone else. Season 2 kind of split into 2 parts thanks to a mid-season break. The first season was mostly on the Abigail on the open water. And while I like the concept of that and sort of like what the dangers could be out in the ocean, it didn't really resonate, didn't really pan out all that well. There was something going on with pirates in the middle of the season that gave us an exciting sort of invasion boarding episode that was very violent, but then that didn't really pay off in the next episode in the way it should have, especially with the Alicia character, because she was the one who kind of got suckered in, and then she didn't really get a big moment to sort of redeem herself. And I kind of felt like their time on the ocean, anything that could have happened to them on the ocean did happen to them. Like someone wound up in the water and there were walkers and they stopped off at Catalina and those people were crazy, and then there were pirates, and so any danger that could actually fall on them out on the ocean kind of did, and it felt a little forced. Though we did get a really cool Strand flashback during that time. It let us know about his character and about his relationship with Thomas, because that's when they were headed to Mexico, to Thomas's estate. And then things sort of petered out with Celia running that compound and Nick sort of falling in line with her belief about the dead, and I didn't like any of that. But it split up all the characters. The second half of the season, I will say, is stronger, but the second half of the season also played around with structure in ways it didn't really need to. I get that everyone was separated into 3 different storylines, or 4 if you count Ophelia, but I don't feel like the show is really counting Ophelia at this point. But it did have stronger moments. Nick's solo episode, Grotesque, was very good, and I really liked the Travis-Chris storyline. And I don't know if what the plan was for Chris all along, because he was very frustrating at the beginning of the season, because he was so distraught and spiraling over his mom's death and making a lot of mistakes that were putting people in danger. Then he kind of became the danger, and Travis's decision to stay with him I really liked, and it helped sell Travis as a good man, because that's a really hard thing to do on a show in the Walking Dead universe. But the sort of when they paired him up with those douchebags that Chris wanted to roll with, he seemed like a really good option, and so Travis really shined there. And then the tragedy that wound up befalling Chris because of that, and Travis's outrage and his wrath and killing the guys who basically killed his son, you sort of circle back to his beatdown of that one soldier character at the end of season 1, so everything came full circle, except he killed those guys, and I thought it was a really great moment. So this season had some character problems, it had some ocean problems, it had some structural problems in the second half, but I thought it handled some of the characters really well, like Nick and Travis and Chris, even Madison and Strand really sort of became stronger characters by the end. I gave it a 7.5 overall. You could read my written review on IGN.com, and stay tuned to IGN for all things Fear the Walking Dead.